Good morning. Let's have our morning cup of joe. Well, today we're going to talk about melatonin. That's the so-called Dracula hormone. Why that name? Because as we well know, Dracula, Bram Stoker's Transylvanian vampire, brought to life in that classic 1931 film by the legendary Bela Lugosi, who incidentally was born in Transylvania. Well, Dracula, of course, was only active at night, and melatonin is the hormone that is active at night, putting us to sleep. It is produced by a tiny gland in our brain called the pineal gland, and there it is made from an amino acid called tryptophan, which is, of course, present in our diet. But it can also be made synthetically. And when it is sold over the counter as a sleep remedy, that usually is how it is made. And there are many sleep remedies that incorporate melatonin. For example, this one here, so-called sleep water. If you read the ingredients on there, it certainly has some melatonin, but also has GABA, gamma-aminobutanoic acid, which is a neurotransmitter that has calming effects. Also, what we have in here is 5-hydroxy tryptophan, and that's a precursor to serotonin, another neurotransmitter that has been associated with anti-anxiety effects, calmness effects, etc. Well, melatonin is also available in a spray form, and I actually find that better. Why? Because when you spray it, and you spray it just underneath the tongue, it goes directly into the bloodstream. So it can enter the brain and get into circulation there and have the effect that it is supposed to have. When you ingest melatonin orally, there's what we call a first bypass in the liver, and the liver can inactivate it. So I find that the spray is better. But dosage is always a problem because, of course, there's a lack of regulation about having to conform to what is on the label with these so-called natural health products. Well, melatonin also occurs naturally in a number of plant products, especially in sour cherries. And I've had numerous questions about this from people asking whether or not eating sour cherries is going to help put them to sleep. Well, it turns out that sour cherries do have some melatonin. However, the amount of melatonin is way, way too little to have any kind of a physiological effect. But the sour cherries taste good, I'll tell you that. And interesting enough, these, which I find are the best ones, actually are made in Hungary. So there's a connection there to Bram Stoker's Dracula as well. Where did Bram Stoker originally get the idea for the sanguinary count? Well, likely from the horrific antics of Vlad Tepes. Vlad Tepes was the 15th century ruler of Wallachia, which is sort of modern-day Bulgaria, Romania, Transylvania. And he lived in what today we would call Transylvania, which is actually part of Romania, but at one time it was part of Hungary. Anyway, Vlad Tepes battled the Ottoman Sultan in the most vicious way, impaling some 23,000 captured Turks on large wooden spikes along roads and in town squares to deter anyone from helping the enemy. Like Dracula, he was bloodthirsty, and he came to be known as Vlad the Impaler. Maybe that is why vampires, today as we know, are killed by driving a wooden stake through their heart. Incidentally, the name Dracula derives from the Romanian for the devil. Well, of course, I don't want to go to sleep now, but in the evening when I do, I just spray 3 of these and I find that it helps. But during the day, well, let's just say that we can keep more active by having that morning cup of joe. See ya next time.